I didn't jump into trading full on. I did what most people think is the smart move. I tried to do it the safe way first. Low risk, low pressure, no real commitment. And it felt right, but it didn't work. Not a little bit, not at all. So let's dive in. When I started, I approached trading like something that I needed to manage really carefully. I told myself, keep the risk low, don't overcommit, fit it around everything else, stay balanced, just see how it goes. And on paper, that sounded like discipline. It sounded very sensible, and it sounded exactly like what you should do. But here's what I didn't realise at the time. I wasn't building a skill. I was protecting myself from discomfort. And there's a really big difference. So let me break down what safe actually looked like for me day to day. It wasn't clean. It wasn't structured. It looked like watching charts for hours but barely executing, consuming endless videos instead of testing anything, taking one or two trades, then stopping, avoiding setups that were slightly uncomfortable, and closing trades early just because it helped me feel I was in control. And I convinced myself I was being disciplined, but really, I was staying in a version of this that was never going to force growth. Because the moment things got uncomfortable, I'd pull back every single time. And here's the issue with doing something like this safely. You never collect enough real data. You don't see patterns repeat properly, build execution consistently, understand how to behave under pressure, and learn what actually works versus what feels right. You stay stuck in theory. And theory is dangerous because it feels very productive, but it's too protective. You feel like you're learning, you feel like you're improving, but nothing changes. I had many days where I'd sit looking at charts for hours, watching everything, analysing everything, maybe taking one trade, maybe two, then I'd stop and I'd tell myself that was a good session, I stayed controlled. But if I'm honest, nothing was improving. Same mistakes, same hesitation, same discomfort, same pulling out too early, and same lack of clarity. Because I wasn't actually putting myself in enough situations to learn. I was dipping in, stepping back out over and over again. And the shift came when I had to be honest with myself. This wasn't about being careful. This wasn't about avoidance. What I was avoiding was seeing how bad I actually was, taking multiple losses in a row, sitting in discomfort, being exposed to my own behaviour repeatedly. And I didn't want the evidence, so I kept everything small, controlled, safe. For a while anyway. And the change wasn't initially going reckless. Well, it wasn't suddenly risking loads. It was this: I actually committed properly. And what that meant was showing up consistently, not occasionally, taking enough trades to generate real feedback, allowing mistakes to happen, studying them. I stopped trying to feel uncomfortable and started trying to get better. And that's a really different mindset. A lot of people can stay stuck here. They think they're doing the right thing because they're being careful, but what they're really doing is delaying exposure. And without exposure, there's no adaptation. Without repetition, there's no skill. And without pressure, there's no real understanding of yourself. And trading, especially, it really is mostly about understanding yourself. You can't half commit to something difficult and expect to see full results. It doesn't work like that. You either stay in control, comfortable, slow, or accept discomfort, repetition, mistakes, and improve. There isn't really a middle ground where you casually get good at this. There really isn't. So if you're in that place right now where it feels like you're doing everything right, but nothing is actually changing, try and take a step back and look at it properly. Are you really doing the work? Or are you just doing it in a way that protects you? Because those two things can look very similar, but they lead to completely different outcomes. Progress doesn't come from staying comfortable. It comes from staying consistent long enough for the discomfort to teach you something.